The assembling of ourselves together.
Come join us. Come join us.
We're children to learn the word too.
Children to learn the words too.
Shabbat Shalom. Come join us.
Shabbat Shalom. Come join us. Happy Sabbath. Come join us.
Welcome to Israel's Church of the Living God Learning Center. For my house should be called a house of prayer for all people.
Come join us.
Come join us. Happy Sabbath. Come join us.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy Sabbath and thank you for joining us.
Shabbat Shalom. Love you.
Join us on the Sabbath at Israel's Church of the Living God Learning Center, located at 1225 South Elmwood Avenue in Waukegan, Illinois. Services starts at 1:30 p.m. You can also visit us online at israelschurch.org. Here you can check our holy days and other events, as well as find out more about our church organization. If you are unable to come out and worship with us, you can also worship with us on our live stream on YouTube at ICOTLG 567 or on our
All right, everybody. Good evening. I'm Pastor Russell. This is Brother Rob. Welcome to Israel's Church of Living God's Q&A. Welcome to Israel's Church of Living God Q&A. We're going to be dealing with a hot topic tonight, and it's called Palm Sunday to Easter, biblical or traditional? Palm Sunday to Easter, biblical or traditional? You know, a lot of people around this time, this is what they're going to be celebrating: Palm Sunday, Good Friday, then Easter. And, you know, just like I was talking to a brother today, hey, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. But is it biblical or is it traditions of men? So this is what we're going to find out. Then we're going to deal with speaking thine own words on the Sabbath, because you know we're not supposed to be speaking our own words on the Sabbath day. And then we're going to try to get in, does the Bible say Abraham was black? Well, it doesn't exactly say that Abraham was black, but I'm going to show you some scriptures dealing with the color of the children of Israel, and the children of Israel came out of Abraham. So we'll get to that. So Palm Sunday to Easter, biblical or traditional? Let's go to Zechariah, the 9th chapter. We got Brother Mark joining us tonight and Brother Terrell on the streaming. So shalom to my brothers. All right. We're at Zechariah 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 9. We're going to read that one verse. Go ahead, Rob.
Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion.
Now he's talking about Jerusalem or Israel. O daughter of Zion.
Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon the colt, the foal of an ass.
Now this is talking about the Lord when he made his triumphant coming through Jerusalem on the donkey, and then they put down the palm trees and all that stuff. We're going to get to that because it's Palm Sunday to Easter, biblical traditional. Let's go to Matthew 21. Matthew 21, and we are going to pick it up at verse 4. And we're going to read this again, but just to show you that this was talking about Jesus. Matthew 21 and 4. Matthew 21 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell ye the daughters of Zion, Behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a colt, the foal of an ass.
I'll tell you what, pick it up at verse 2. Pick it up at verse 2. Go ahead and read.
Saying unto them, Go into the village over against you.
Now this is what Jesus is saying. Go ahead and read.
And straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her. Loose them, and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord hath need of them. And straightway he will send them.
Go ahead.
All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying.
Now you see, Jesus done this act that was spoken by Zechariah. He done this very act which was spoken of by Zechariah, fulfilling the scriptures. Go ahead and read.
Tell ye the daughter of Zion, Behold, the king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and the colt, the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them.
So now we know then that Zechariah, the 9th chapter, the 9th verse, was talking about Jesus. Go ahead and read.
And brought the ass and the colt, and put on them their clothes, and they set him thereon. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way. Others cut down branches from trees, and straws led them in the way.
Go ahead.
And the multitudes that went before and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest.
See, now this is what they do. They cut down the palm trees and they start putting them down, these branches down on the ground, and said, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest to the Son of David. Verse 10, go ahead and read.
And when he was come into Jerusalem, all the city was moved, saying, Who is this?
Now, because that's how Israel is, who is this? Everybody's amazed at these things that Jesus is doing, and they like, well, who is this? So let's go, and we're gonna read this again. We're just gonna go over to John, the 12th chapter, John 12, and we're just gonna read verse 1 for right now. John 12 and 1. We're gonna read it again. Now look at what the book is saying. Now this is the same time. This is the same time. Look at what the book is saying. John 12 and 1. Go ahead and read that.
Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover
Stop
came.
right there. Now he says 6 days before the Passover, right? Everybody, we're going to find out what day was the Passover. He says 6 days before the Passover.
Came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead.
Now I know they had been, let's go see. We're going to see Jesus and Lazarus, because Lazarus had died and Jesus rose him from the grave. So they were going there to see Jesus and Lazarus. But we're going to get back to this in just a minute. We're going to get back to this. Let's see when the Passover was. First of all, let's go to Matthew 26. Matthew 26, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Matthew 26 and 1. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read.
And it came to pass, when Jesus was finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, Ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified.
Now, what day did Jesus die on? It was on the Passover. It's that simple. And we're going to find out that Jesus didn't die on no Good Friday. He didn't die on no Good Friday. He died on the Passover. Now, if you come in with Good Friday and say he died on Good Friday, then you come in with another doctrine or another gospel. And Paul said, for those who come with another gospel, let them be accursed. So now, you talking about Good Friday, the book said Jesus just said what day he was going to die on, didn't he? Mm-hmm. So now you calling Jesus a lie. But let's go back now. Let's go and see what exactly, because we know he died on the Passover. Let's see what day of the week it was. Let's go to Daniel, the 9th chapter, Daniel 9. And you know, we do this every year. We do this every year when we do the Passover. Daniel 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 25. Daniel 9 and 25. Go ahead and read it.
Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince.
Now, who is the Messiah? It is Jesus. That's who the Messiah is. Go ahead and read.
Unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The streets shall be built again, and the walls, even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
Now he's going to be cut off. In other words, he's going to be killed or crucified. Go ahead.
But not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Now listen what the book says. He said he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And
in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease.
Now in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices and oblations to cease. Remember, he was going to be cut off. The Messiah is supposed to be cut off. And this is when he was cut off, in the midst of the week. Finish that.
And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate.
Now,
even until the consummation, and that is determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Now, what does mitz mean? We're going to go to Reader's Digest Encyclopedia Dictionary. What does mitz mean?
The central or interior part.
The central or the interior part,
Middle.
The middle. So we're looking at the middle of the week. Is Friday the middle of the week? Nope. Friday is actually the weekend, because Sunday is the first day of the week. So Friday is actually the weekend. Friday and Saturday. That is the weekend. Does everybody understand? So what would be the middle of the week? That would be Wednesday, because you got 3 days before and you got 3 days after. And the middle of the week would be Wednesday. Does everybody understand? That is the middle of the week. Now, so that would bring us to Wednesday. So now we're going to read something right here about Palm Sunday. We're going to Encyclopedia Britannica, and we're going to read about Palm Sunday. What does it say?
Palm Sunday. The Sunday before Easter.
The Sunday before Easter. So that was last week, was Palm Sunday. But we're going to show you that them putting out the branches and the palm trees, and that didn't happen on no Sunday. So where did he get this biblical? Is it biblical or is this traditional? We're going to find out. Go ahead, read that again.
Palm Sunday, the Sunday before Easter, so called from the custom still observed in the Roman Catholic Church.
Oh, this is a custom, and it was observed in the Roman, not only the Roman Catholic Church, but all the Sunday churches are doing this. Go ahead and read.
Still observed in the Roman Catholic Church of blessing palm branches and carrying them in procession in commemoration.
No. Who told you to do this? Because look, we only seen this done one time. We saw this done one time in the Bible. So where you get off making this some type of ritual or festival or something? We saw this one time in the Bible. But and then that was it. They didn't do it no more after that. But go ahead.
Blessing palm branches and carrying them in procession in commemoration of Christ's triumphal entry into Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
In the Western Church, Palm Sunday is counted as the first day of Holy Week.
It is counted as the first day of Holy Week, this Palm Sunday. Go ahead and read.
And its ceremonies usher in the series of services, culminating in those of Good Friday.
Oh, wait a minute, slow down. So culminating into those of Good Friday. Now, where is this at in the Bible? Where is Good Friday at in the Bible? So if it's not in the Bible, then it's traditional then, right? But if you want to do it, that's up to you. I ain't got nothing to do or say about that, but it's traditional. Go ahead.
Which commemorated the Passion.
Okay, now we're gonna look up Good Friday. Let's look up, because from Palm Sunday to Easter, and so in between Palm Sunday and Easter, you got Good Friday, right? Let's read about Good Friday.
Good Friday, the English name for the Friday before.
Now this
Easter.
is Encyclopedia Americana, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Good Friday, the English name for the Friday before Easter.
Stop right there. So tomorrow will be considered Good Friday. Okay? Tomorrow will be considered Good Friday. This is Friday before Easter. Go ahead.
Kept as the anniversary of the crucifixion.
Stop right there. Now, who said Jesus died on Good Friday? Jesus said he was going to die on the Passover. You saying he died on Good Friday. So now who lying? Who lying? You or Jesus? Or let me just soften that up. Is it this biblical or this traditional? Go ahead and read.
The term is probably a corruption of God's Friday. It is called Long Friday by the Anglo-Saxons and Danes.
Oh, so the Gentiles are the ones who started this. Go ahead. All roads leading back to Rome. But go ahead.
Possibly in allusion to the length of the service which marked the day. The origin of the custom of the yearly commemoration of the crucifixion.
Wait a minute. Commemoration of the crucifixion. But the Lord didn't tell you to remember his crucifixion. He said, remember the Passover. You show my death until you come. But go ahead.
Commemoration of the crucifixion is somewhat obscure. It may be regarded in certain that among Jewish Christians.
No, wait a minute. No. Well, okay. Because they calling certain people Jews, but I'm going to leave that alone. Go ahead.
It may be regarded as certain that among Jewish Christians, it almost imperceptibly grew out of the old habit of annual celebration of the Passover.
Well, no, it didn't grow out no Passover. A Good Friday did not come out of Passover. Because Passover is the day he died on. So how could it have come out of Good Friday? Which he didn't die on Friday. But go ahead, man.
Annually celebrating the Passover on the 14th of Nisan and of observing.
See, they know what day the Passover is on. It's on the 14th day of Nisan or Abib. So they know what day the Passover, the ones that saying this, they know what day the Passover is. Go ahead and read.
And observing the days of unleavened bread.
Oh, wait a minute. Because after the Passover are the days of unleavened bread. So now somebody got some understanding about the Passover and the unleavened bread, but this thing with Good Friday, this totally out of the blue or out of the sky, because there's no such thing in the Bible as no Good Friday. Jesus didn't even die on Good Friday. Ain't no such thing as Palm Sunday. That didn't happen on no Sunday. And there's no such thing as Good Friday because Jesus didn't die on Good Friday. No such thing in the Bible. Go ahead and read.
and of observing the days of unleavened bread from the 15th to the 21st of that month.
Look at this. They got some understanding about the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Passover. But go ahead.
In the Gentile churches, on the other hand, it seemed to be well established that originally no yearly cycle of festivals was known at all.
Oh, so in the Gentile churches, they didn't know nothing about this Good Friday and all of this stuff. They didn't know nothing about this. But go ahead.
From its earliest observances, the day was marked by a specifically righteous fast.
Oh, wait a minute, slow down. You're supposed to be fasting on this day. So tomorrow, I'm going to call some people that I know that's keeping a Good Friday and see if they fasting. You're supposed to be fasting this day. Ain't nobody doing this thing. Can't even do wrong right. Because I ask people, are you fasting? What you mean about why should I be fasting? Well, this the Good Friday. You're supposed to be fasting on Good Friday. Go ahead and read.
And also, on the whole, by a tendency to gather simple.
You know what? That's enough of this. That's enough of this. That's enough of this. Come on. All right, let's go now. Let's go back to the book. Let's go back to the book. So let's go back to John the 12th chapter and pick it back up at verse 1 again. John 12 and 1. Go ahead and read that again. John 12 and 1. Let's get back to this thing with the palm branches. Now we're going to show you what day this actually happened on. So go ahead. So we know that Jesus died in the midst of the week. That was the Passover. He died on the Passover in the midst of the week, which was Wednesday. Go ahead and read.
Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead.
Now, if you go 6 days before the Passover, that's going to bring you to Thursday. 6 days before the Passover is going to bring you to Thursday. That's the fifth day of the week. The fifth day of the week. It is Thursday, right? Is that right?
Yep. 6
days before the Passover. Passover was Wednesday. 6 days before that is Thursday. Skip to verse 12. Go ahead and read it.
On the next day.
What day is that on?
Friday.
Friday. On the next day, what happened?
Much people that were come to the feast, when they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees and went forth to meet him and cried, Hosanna, blessed is the King of Israel that cometh in the name of the Lord.
So wait a minute. So now what day then did they take the palm branches and put them on the ground and say, Hosanna, Hosanna? It was on a Friday, not on a Sunday. And you only see this one time in the Bible. Can't do wrong right. That is really something. Can't even get wrong right. Go ahead and read some more.
14. And Jesus, when he had found a young ass, sat thereon, as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Zion. Behold, the king cometh, sitting on an ass. Oh, these things understood not the disciples at the first. But when Jesus was glorified, then remembered they that these things were written of him, and that they had done these things unto him.
Now, we're going to stop right there. So look at what day this palm service took place on. It was on a Friday, not on Sunday. Does everybody understand? Let's go now. So Jesus didn't die on Good Friday. He died on a Wednesday, which is the middle of the week. Or when it comes to Palm Sunday, it was on when it comes to the palm branches being laid out, that happened on a Friday, not on a Sunday. So now, wait a minute. So now, is this biblical or is this traditional? This is traditional. And if that's what you want to do, then you go ahead and do it. But you are calling the Lord a lie. You are calling the Lord a lie. Let's go to Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23. Look at that. Open the book right to it. Leviticus 23, and we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Leviticus 23 and 4. Go ahead and read it.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
Go ahead.
In the 14th day of the first month at eve is the Lord's Passover.
In the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord.
Now he said, go ahead and read that. Finish it.
7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
Now you can understand what we are about to read. Now let's go to Luke, the 22nd chapter. Luke 22, and we are going to pick it up at verse 1. Luke 22 and 1. You know, you're trying to convince people of this Easter. I can keep Easter if I want to. Yeah, you can. And I can keep Passover too. So be it. Luke 22. But who is doing what thus saith the Lord, though? That's what matters. Which one of us doing what thus saith the Lord? Luke 22, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read it.
Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover.
Now, so we got the Passover the first day, right? And then the 14th day of the first month is the Passover. The 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But he just said now the Feast of Unleavened Bread drew nigh, which is called Passover. So what day are we looking at? The 14th day of the first month. That's what we're looking at. We're not looking at the 15th day. We're looking at the 14th day because that's the Passover. Go ahead and read verse 2.
And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him.
Oh, why are they trying to kill him around the time of the Passover? Because skip the verse. We're just going to skip, Rob. Skip to verse 7. Go ahead and read.
Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed.
Oh, that's why they tried to kill him. Because that's when the Passover had to die. The Passover lamb had to die on the Passover day. And Jesus is the Passover lamb, so that's why they seek to kill him around the time of the Passover. And he died on the Passover. Because remember we read in Matthew the 26th chapter that you know that after 2 days is going to be the feast of the Passover. The Son of Man is going to be betrayed and be crucified. So he told them what day he was going to. Can you imagine that? I know what day I'm going to die on. In 2 days, I'm getting ready to die. That is really something. And then you turn around and keep Palm Sunday, Good Friday, Easter. And this ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Nothing. Verse 8, go ahead and read it.
And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat.
Wait a minute, you mean the apostles keeping the Passover? That's right. So now, if you're not keeping the Passover, then you're not following the Master. Because, you keeping Easter. Jesus didn't keep no Easter. I ain't seen none of the apostles keeping no Easter. None of them. So now you going contrary to what the Bible said. Now the Bible does talk about Easter. Let's go to Acts the 12th chapter. This is the only place in the Bible that talks about Easter. But then you can't find out what day it's on, how you supposed to celebrate it, nothing. You understand? We at Acts 12 and 1. Go ahead and read it. 12 and 1. We might run a little over tonight. Acts 12 and 1. Go ahead.
Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church. And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread.
This is what we're looking at. This is the season, because this is the time that Jesus died. It was around the Passover, and the next day is the Feast of Unleavened. In fact, he had to stay in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. So while the Feast of Unleavened Bread was going on, he came up during the middle of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Now he said, then were the days of unleavened bread. Go ahead and read.
And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quadrants soldiers to keep him.
Go ahead.
Intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
Now, wait a minute. So now these were the days of unleavened bread, right?
Right.
So now tell me what day. I can tell you what day the unleavened bread is on. I can tell you what day the Passover. Tell me what day, according to the Bible, Easter is on and how you're supposed to celebrate it. If you can't do that, then it didn't come out the Bible as far as you're supposed to be keeping it. But let's find out something about this Easter. Let's go. We're going to read something right here. We're going to read Easter right here in Reader's Digest Encyclopedia. Okay, you got it? All right.
Easter.
Uh-huh.
A Christian festival.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, they called it a Christian festival, but I don't see none of the Christians in the Bible keeping this. But go ahead.
A Christian festival commemorating the resurrection of Christ.
Now, wait a minute. Where do you see this in the Bible when at Christ's resurrection, it was called Easter? It just said right here, then were the days of unleavened bread. They were intended at around the time of Easter to kill James, right? That's all it said. But go ahead, we're going to find out exactly what the Bible is talking about when it says Easter, though. Go ahead and read. So now that's traditions of men right there, talking about the resurrection of Jesus. Read that again, Rob.
A Christian festival commemorating the resurrection of Christ.
So that's traditional, because there was no such festival in the Bible. But go ahead.
The day on which this festival is celebrated. The Sunday immediately after the first full moon.
See, that Sunday immediately after the first full moon. Well, the children of Israel, they calculated their feast according to the new moon. Not according to the full moon, but according to the new moon. So this is totally traditional. Go ahead and read.
On the first full moon that occurs on or after March 21.
All right. So now this is total tradition, because there is no such thing in the Bible called Easter that is celebrating the resurrection of Christ. There's no such day. Now we're going to read about Easter one more time. Now look at what it says about Easter right here. Look at what it says about Easter over here.
Easter.
Now this is Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. Go ahead and read.
In parentheses, Passover.
Now wait a minute. Easter in parentheses what?
Passover.
Passover. So this is what the Bible is actually talking about when it says Easter. It is actually talking about Passover or Pashur, which means Passover. Go ahead.
Rendered Easter in Acts chapter 12, verse 4, King James Version, but correctly translated Passover in ASV, American Standard Version.
Yeah.
The day on which the church celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Okay, so now on Passover, the church didn't celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, called Easter. So on Passover, they celebrated what? His death. Because you do show the Lord's death till he comes on Passover, not showing his resurrection. So they can't even do wrong right. Let's go see what Christ is. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians 5, and we're going to pick it up. We're going to read one verse. Read verse 7, Rob. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7.
Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump. As ye are unleavened, for even Christ our Passover.
Christ our Easter. Did it say that? Christ our Passover,
is sacrificed for us.
So now if you keeping Easter and Good Friday and all these things, then you got the wrong gospel, baby. You got the wrong gospel. And like Paul said, he that cometh with another gospel, let him be accursed. Let's go to Colossians 2 and 8. Colossians 2 and 8. We're going to put this to rest. Colossians 2 and 8. Read that verse 8. What did it say?
lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Let any man rob you through philosophy and vain deceit, because that's what they're doing. They are robbing you of your eternal life. You going off celebrating a pagan holiday versus the Lord's holy day. Go ahead and read.
After the traditions of men.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after a tradition of men,
after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
And if you keeping Palm Sunday, Good Friday, and Easter, then you are following at the traditions of man and not after Christ. We done with that. Now, we're going to deal with something right here. It's not speaking thine own words on the Sabbath. Not speaking your own words on the Sabbath. Because, you know, we often do that, but we are not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to be speaking our own words on the Sabbath. Let's go to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Leviticus 23 and verse 3. Go ahead and read it.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
Go ahead.
And holy convocation.
Now, if we're talking about other things on the Sabbath, then we're not keeping the Sabbath all the way holy. So we shouldn't be talking about other things on the Sabbath, because we're supposed to be having a holy convocation. So the things that we speak of, we're supposed to be speaking of things that's concerning the Bible. Go ahead and read.
You shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
So now, on the seventh day, we are supposed to have a holy convocation. Let's go to Luke, the 4th chapter. Luke 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Verse 14. Luke 4 and 14. When you get it, Rob, go ahead and read. Because the Master himself, he kept the Sabbath. And look at what he was doing on the Sabbath. Luke 4 and 14. Go ahead and read it.
And Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit unto Galilee. And there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read.
So now Jesus himself is keeping the Sabbath day. Imagine that. Now, he's not keeping the first day of the week, which we call Sunday, but he is keeping the Sabbath day. Now, you know, if you're going to follow after Jesus, then you're supposed to be keeping the Sabbath day just as he did. Go ahead and read.
And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet of Isaiah.
Oh, wait a minute. He's reading? He's getting ready to start reading in the prophets? That's right. And this is what we're supposed to be doing on the Sabbath day. The thing is that God gave us not only the Old Testament, but he gave us the New Testament. Go ahead and read.
And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, and had sent me to heal the brokenhearted.
We're going to stop right there. I just want to let you see that Jesus kept the Sabbath day. He kept the Sabbath. Let's go now. Let's go to Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Hebrews 10. And we're going to pick it up at verse 24. Hebrews 10 and 24. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. When are we supposed to assemble ourselves together? Well, on the Sabbath day and on the Lord's feast days. Otherwise, what days are you supposed to assemble yourselves together according to the Bible? Read that again, brother.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching.
So now, let us not forsake the assembling of ourselves together. And the days that we're supposed to assemble ourselves together is the Sabbath day and the Lord's feast days. This is when we're supposed to assemble ourselves together. Let's go now. Let's go to Isaiah the 58th chapter. So we're supposed to be keeping the 7th-day Sabbath. But look at what he said about the 7th-day Sabbath. And one of the things that you're not supposed to, because I could have read more things, but I'm just going to read this right here. Isaiah 58 and start reading at verse 13. Go ahead.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
Stop right there. See, you're not supposed to be doing your pleasure on the Lord's holy days. Go ahead and read.
And call the Sabbath a delight. The holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him.
And shall honor him. See, you honor the Lord when you keep the Lord's Sabbath. You honor him. Now, what was Jesus doing? He was honoring the Lord or the Father on the Sabbath. Go ahead and read.
Not doing thine own ways.
Not doing your own ways,
Nor finding thine own pleasure. Nor speaking thine own words.
Ooh. We're not supposed to even be speaking, not doing our own ways, not even speaking our own words on the Sabbath day. And so that is one of the things that we're going to practice, not speaking our own words on the Sabbath day. Something else we're not supposed to be doing too. Let's go to Ephesians, the 5th chapter, Ephesians 5, because we all have been guilty of this. Even speaking our own words on the Sabbath. But we got to start correcting, because that's what the Lord said, right? Ephesians 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Ephesians 5 and 1. Go ahead.
Be ye therefore followers of God, as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God, for a sweet-smelling Savior. But fornication and all uncleanness and covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness nor foolish talking.
Stop right there. He said neither filthiness nor foolish talking.
Nor jesting.
Nor jesting. What is jesting? That means you saying something all the time to be funny. We're not supposed to be doing this on the Sabbath. We're not supposed to be doing this on the Sabbath. Read it again.
Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking.
Nor foolish talking,
nor jesting, which are not convenient.
Go ahead.
But rather giving of thanks.
Now, so we're not supposed to be joking around on the Sabbath and foolish talking on the Sabbath. We're not supposed to be doing this. So we have to start practicing this. We got to start practicing doing this. Let's go now. Let's go to, we got another question here we're going to get in. The Bible doesn't say Abraham was black. I know that. Somebody sent us a message saying this. And I'm not mad, that's fine. But we know that the Bible doesn't say Abraham is black. Well, let me show you something though. We got a good idea that he was, according to the scriptures. We got a good idea that he was. Let's go to Genesis 11. And we're going to pick it up at verse 10. Genesis 11. And we're going to pick it up at verse 10. We got a good idea that he was black. And there's nothing derogatory or anything to that nature, but the book says what it says. Genesis 11 and verse 10. Go ahead and read it.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
Go ahead.
And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters.
Now, if you keep reading this, you're reading the sons of Shem. So skip to verse 22. Go ahead and read.
And Shurug lived 30 years and begot Nahor. And Shurug lived after he begot Nahor 200 years and begot sons and daughters.
Go ahead.
And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begot Terah. And Nahor lived after he begot Terah 119 years and begot sons and daughters.
Go ahead.
And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram.
And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, which is Abraham,
Nahor and Haran.
So Terah begot Abraham, right?
Right.
Let's go now. We're going to look up something right here. Let me see. We're going to look this up. Yeah, let me see if it's in here. I meant to put that in here. We're going to look up Shem. I meant to put that in here, but I know it's in here. So just give me a second. Let me see. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. All right. We're going to read Shem, then Semite, right there. Shem, then Semite. Go ahead.
Shem, the eldest son of Noah.
So Shem was the oldest son of Noah. Go ahead. Right up on that. Semite.
Shemite. Semite.
Go ahead. Read right up under it. If it don't say nothing. No. Okay, Semite. Okay. Well, that's what it is. Shemite. So the sons of Shem, men call them Shemites because the Bible don't actually exactly say Shemites. But this is what we're dealing with, the sons of Shem, which are Shemites. Everybody got that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's go to Acts, the 7th chapter, Acts 7. Acts 7, and we're going to pick it up. Read that verse 8. Now, let's go down the lineage real quick. Acts 7 and 8. When you get it, Rob, start reading.
And he gave him the covenant of circumcision.
Talking about Abraham. Go ahead.
And so Abraham begot Isaac.
Abraham begot Isaac.
And circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob.
And Isaac begot Jacob. Go ahead.
And Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs.
And Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. This is who we're looking at. Now, let's go back to Genesis, the 13th chapter. Genesis 13, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Genesis 13 and verse 11. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read that.
Then Lot chose him all the plains of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east.
Now, I just want to show you where Abraham was. Go ahead and read.
And they separated themselves, the one from the other. Abraham dwelt in the land of Canaan.
Abraham dwelt in the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read.
And Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent toward Sodom.
Now, so Abraham, he dwelt in the land of Canaan, right? So put that slide up there, and we're going to read something. Now, look at these. Right, look at that slide right there. We're going to read that. Read this right there. Look at what it says.
Canaanite captives in Egypt.
Canaanite captives in Egypt. See, they look black. But go ahead and read.
Being led before the Pharaoh. This relief, which portrays the general appearance of Israelites.
Stop right there. This relief portrays the general appearance of Israelites. So now let's go back. Israel, the Israelites, their father was Jacob. Jacob's father was Isaac. And Isaac's father was Abraham. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So now these are black people right here. But look at what it's going to say. Look at what it's going to say. Now, we got this out of Historical Atlas to the Bible, Westminster's. Go ahead.
This relief, which portrays the general appearance of Israelites as well as Canaanites, is good.
No, wait a minute. Slow down, brother. This is the general appearance of Israelites as well as Canaanites. So now, Canaanites, they come out of Ham, which are the African people. But go ahead.
Is a good representation of the typical Semite of the day.
Wait a minute. The good representation of the Semite of the... Well, wait a minute. What was Abraham? Wasn't he a Semite?
Yep.
Abraham was a Semite. So now these are black people right here. So now can a leopard change his stripes or his spots rather? So then what color would Abraham be? If Abraham had to be black, Isaac black, Jacob black, and the 12 tribes of Israel black. So the Bible don't exactly say that Abraham was black, but if you read the scriptures, he had to be black. He couldn't look like the ones that call themselves Jews now, and then have people come out of him that look like this. Does that make sense? So now the Bible don't exactly say he was black, but if you could read some scripture and find out that he was black. Because this is how the Semites look. They look black. They look just like the Canaanites. Go ahead and read.
Note the notable aristocratic features. Particularly the finely cut noses. And the long hair and beard.
Oh, so now these Canaanite captives, I get my own suspicion, I think that these are Israelites. Okay? But they're saying that the Israelites and the Canaanites look just alike. You finished with that?
No. It is commonly thought that Israelites had hooked noses, but this was originally a Hittite or an Armenoid feature.
Now, so I'm going to read this right here. I'm going to throw this in there. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, probably born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. So Ham is not the father of the Negroes. Who are the Negroes? We are the Negroes. But the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. And we just saw that the Canaanites and the Israelites look alike. You can take that down now. The Canaanites and the Israelites look alike. So they were black. The Ethiopians black. The Egyptians black. Now, let's go now. Let's show you. Let's go to Amos, the 9th chapter. Amos 9. And we're going to read verse 7. Amos 9 and 7. Now, that's why you got to pay attention to what the Bible says instead of what men say. So you can't go off of what men say. We have to go off of what the Bible says. Because if you go off of what men say, then you'll be running around talking about those people over there in Israel right now. Those are the real Israelites or the Jews. Because you haven't read the Bible. Amos 9 and 7. Read that.
Ye are not as children of the Ethiopians unto me.
Are you not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me?
O children of Israel.
O children of Israel. So the Israelites look just like the Ethiopians. Now everybody can see that now. The Ethiopians are still a dark-skinned race. In fact, they were what we used to call blue-black. They dark. But you see what he said? Read it again, Rob.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel?
O children of Israel. So he said the children of Israel, they look just like the Ethiopians. Now, what you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this? But I got one more for you. Finish that, Rob.
Saith the Lord.
Now, this is what the Lord said. No matter what men say, this is what the Lord is saying. Go ahead and read.
Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt? And the Philistines from Capfor? And the Syrians from Ker?
Now, these are all dark-skinned races right here we read about, including the children of Israel. Dark-skinned, black, just like me. Let's go now. Let's go to Lamentations, the 5th chapter. Lamentations 5. We're going to read one verse. Lamentations 5 and 10. Lamentations 5 and 10. Now, how can you get around this? Because, I got people keep saying that the children, those people over there, those are the Israelites. I said, how can they change colors like that? You mean they went from being dark-skinned, black, what we commonly call a black people, to light-skinned people? The Lord don't work like that. He didn't change a whole race. He might have changed an individual black, but he didn't change a whole. He might change an individual to being light-skinned, from being black to light, but he didn't change a whole race. Lamentations 5 and 10. Go ahead and read it.
Our skin was black like an oven.
We can stop right there. This is the children of Israel when they were in the land, and the Lord was, it was a famine in the land. They said, and then what happens to us when we are sick? We get darker. That's what happens to us. Go ahead and read it, Rob.
Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine.
Because of the terrible famine. Now, what are you going to do with this? Because some people might be hearing this for the first time. So now, does the Bible say that Abraham is black? No, it doesn't say that, but you can read some scriptures and find out that he was. You can read scripture and find out that he was. And there you have it. We thank everybody for joining us for this Q&A tonight. And if you got any questions, we were supposed to open up the phone line. Okay, so but we'll open it up again next Thursday. We'll open it up again next Thursday. Okay, all right, everybody. We want everybody to have a good evening, and thank you for joining us. Shalom.
Shalom.